conversations with people, like adults, you know, on the corner of the street or in the public pool. And I would be like, holy Jesus.
That's amazing.
Like, and they'd be shocked that she could speak the language. Mm-hmm. Right. But what I didn't think through was, because I just took for granted that my husband would be in the house and that marriage would continue and that we would just be surrounded with the language and she would just continue to speak it. And it didn't work that way. And what happened was her language was tied to the family and you know, like on an emotional level. And when that changed, so did her interest in the language. And because she wasn't studying it, she just was immersed into it and she learned it and it was great. But then when we weren't immersed into it every day, she was just like out of sight, out of mind. Right. And now it's like pulling teeth to get her to even consider studying it. She's in junior high now. And I wish that I would have realized. So I guess my point is like, for anybody who's interested in either learning the language or a language or teaching it to their children, be mindful of how how situations change and just how you can continue it moving forward. And a lot of people's, interest goes back to their first experience. So it saddens me that so many people will have a first experience in a junior high or a high school with a teacher who just doesn't, maybe, I shouldn't say that they don't care, but maybe they don't take it as seriously as like, this could be a life altering experience, as any class could be. But she came back, she took Spanish in 6th grade. And it was the very basic. It was the only class that was available in 6th grade. And so it was very like, she's like, Mom, we're counting to 10 and we're just learning how to say hi. How are you? And the teacher came to me and she was like, don't enroll her in Spanish again until she gets to 8th grade where she can take Spanish for native Spanish speakers. Yeah. She was like, otherwise she's just bored and she's screwing off in class and she's not learning anything and she's just going to hate it. Yeah. Which I think at that point it was too late.
Yeah. Well, that might come like flooding back to her that maybe she will really want to.
I'm grateful that at least she has a foundation so that when she becomes an adult and realizes the value of being bilingual, it'll be easy for her to get back. My son, on the other hand, his father is from Spain and his stepmother is from the Dominican Republic, and he's like inundated with Spanish. And then he comes with me. My Spanish is ugly and broken, and we talk and we have conversations. He's so very intuitive that he knows now naturally when he's speaking to somebody, even if it's a stranger, either they look like they speak Spanish, so he's profiling them, or they have an accent or whatever, he'll naturally slide right into the language. But he'll come home to me and he'll look at me and just start speaking English. Yeah. Like, come on. I know. I said something to him in Spanish. We were talking about breakfast and he's like, why are you speaking to me like that? I'm like, because I can.
Forever gringa.
So, okay. So great. So now we're going to go back to Sal and not Sal specifically, you and your relationship with Sal and what you do for Puente.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I work for Puente Internacional, which is an importing company and so much more. They produce, export, import to the U.S., like heritage Mexican spirits.
By the way, you give better sound bites than he does. I'm just going to say that right now. Just kidding. That was beautiful.
I know. I'm like, I got to think about
heritage spirit.
Because I'm still putting it together all the time.
Well,
because
it's so new and so changing.
Yeah, it's constantly changing. And I was telling you earlier, I need to always like check in with Sal, like, hey, has anything changed on this front? Are we still good if I say this or this or this? But it's great working for them. They're a budding company. I feel like that's a good adjective for them or verb. They're really going for it, and that's all because of Sal. He's really like spearheading this kind of connection that he's exploring himself, and so that's why there's this need to constantly check in with him, like, has this changed, is this different? Right. Because it is changing him, and then it's changing the company and what we do for the better, and really fun things are coming out of Puente. So I met him maybe 2.5, 3 years ago at a tequila distillery in Jalisco, the distillery where Gran Ovejo is made. I work for the tequila tour company, and we were there with a group, and Sal happened to be there also. We met, we exchanged cards. We talked about the potential of him helping me with Pisco, became friends, and then he invited me on a trip to Michoacan to visit the distilleries that he works with. And from there on out, I started working for Puente, doing their social media.
You do a great job, by the way.
Thank you so much.
I think I texted him actually months and months before we even did our episode. And I was like, who's doing your social media? Like, it's awesome. It's so good. And I may have even said, like, if you ever need another person to like be down in Mexico and doing it as well when you get really big, let me know.
Yeah, totally. You know, it's funny because the company, like I was just saying, is growing. It's in motion. Every moment it's growing and changing. And so there is a need for, I mean, the need on social media changes too. And so we've discussed like bringing on more people to help me kind of like work on cultivating more followers and likes and stuff. But then at the end of the day, it's like what's important is getting the information out to the people. It's not necessarily about like 1 million followers. So yeah, I'm pretty independent with my work with them. And like I said, I'll send him a WhatsApp or communicate with Adrian, who's in Michoacan, on the ground, like, wait, send me some photos. Like, I need some content here. And he'll send me all kinds of in process shots. So it's been a neat kind of side job, but also just really cool people to work for. So,
well, anytime you have a project, I think, where there's history behind, like there's a story, whether it's unfolding as you're witnessing it or if it's unfolded just recently. But at least for me, like he's diving in to his culture, to his history, to his ancestry. And in the meantime, he's creating some really cool shit that's coming out of it. And so I can imagine the experience that he's having with like, oh my God, I'm learning all of this stuff about my world and my family and the land that I came from. And the spirits and, you know, the process and all of that kind of stuff. And so it's exciting to watch it unfold for sure. And
it's amazing.
He's doing a great job. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
So good luck with the growth on that for sure.
Yeah, he is a really fascinating person to watch. I'm blown away by how young he is.
I know. He is just a baby.
He really is, but he's like got all of these projects going and they're not only going, they're going straight up. It's really amazing to watch, and I'm so happy to be a part of it. And he's like the most graceful, like wonderful human, you know, like he's always so thankful for me. I'm like, I don't really know. I'm not doing that much, but I just watch you like, wow.
Also, I was just going to say he's doing great things. He also has a really good support team beneath him. I mean, his wife is very supportive as well in terms of some of their other projects, I think. Speaking of which, I went to, I don't know, what'd you do for New Year's? Did you do anything fun?
Not really. I'm just really not good at New Year's, so...
Me either, apparently. I found out. She's laughing because I told her the story. I went to Picasso. Actually, they were doing an event, and I had thought about going. Oh my God, this is a long, crazy story. That not long. It's just kind of a weird story that I don't know if anybody wants to hear. But I went with I was thinking about going. He had been putting it out on social media for a while. I'm like, oh, this sounds like fun. Those are my people.
Yeah.
And I decided I wouldn't go because I would likely run into some people that I may or may not want to see. And I agree also with New Year's. Like, I like to celebrate. But I'm the person who needs to be out and dancing and with friends and have a good time, or I need to be in bed.
Yeah.
I can't do like a quiet version. So I went out with some friends, and then I ended up meeting up with some other people at Sal's place. And I'm way too old to be that person who drinks too much on New Year's Eve and throws up. And that's exactly what happened. And thank God it didn't happen at Picasso. But I felt there was a moment I was doing great. And then I was out on the dance floor and the champagne came around at midnight. And I took like 2 sips of the champagne and I felt it. And I was like, oh my God, I'm done. Like I'm out. Like I'm horrified at the idea of being the person who looks like she's wobbling. So immediately I was like, I gotta go. I want to leave. So I left and I ended up getting sick in the car because I get car sick anyway.
Oh no.
But I was like, oh my God, who does that at my age?
Well, I think it's the pressure of
on New Year's especially. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like, it's such a rookie mistake. So
yeah,
I'm probably in the same camp as you, and that is like New Year's probably not my thing.
It's definitely not my thing. I prefer to work. I've always worked it on New Year's, and it like keeps me out of trouble and safe and making money from everyone else instead of spending it and being a dummy. So yeah, New Year's is not. Yeah, I celebrate throughout the year. I don't need one night to go crazy.
Be like, yes, agreed, totally agree. So how much more time do you have at NYU? How far?
I've just begun. So I only have 1 semester under my belt. At the end of this month, I'll start semester 2. I think I'll take some summer classes, do 2 more semesters in a summer, and then I think I'll be done.
Yeah.
I'm not really in a hurry. I'm going part-time because I want to enjoy living in New York and really learning about New York.
Mm-hmm.
I think every day I like it a little more. Like a lot of people love New York, or they come to New York and they're like, yes, New York. And I was expecting to have the same experience and I didn't. And I got here and I was like, I don't get it. But I knew it was just because I was on surface level. And for especially the last 5 years, I've really been like deep diving into things. And it's kind of annoying when you have to start from scratch, whether it's starting a new, like a language or anything new, and you're not good at it.
Yeah. I
was not good at New York. I'm still not good at New York, but I'm trying.
How long have you been here?
Like 6 months.
Okay. Honestly, this is my, I don't know, 5th or 6th trip to New York. I felt this, I don't live here, so it's a different perspective for sure. But the first few times I was like, same thing. I was like, I couldn't dive deep. I wasn't here long enough. Mm-hmm. This summer, though, I came and I stayed with KK I ended up taking a 3-day trip here and turning it into an almost 3-week trip because I was like, I just don't want to go.
Yeah.
And so I learned a lot about it. I really tried to get to know some people. And then this trip, I'm only here for a week, but it's a completely different approach that I've taken. I dove in as if I live here.
Yeah.
And the contacts and the people that I met, and it wasn't me just being like, oh, nice to meet you. Like maybe someday I'll see you again or I'll follow up. Like I dove in deep with some of these people who are connected to other people and experiences and just they're going to be people that I want to stay in touch with because I want to figure out how to experience New York. Like my dreamy situation would be to just, I love where I live. Like it doesn't suck to live in Sonoma County. But I would love it if I could spend a month out here and, find some sort of creative project that I could do that and just be busy. And it seems like I've met a few people that might be actually a possibility, but to be able to live here and like you said, just dive in and like it feels dreamy to me. I don't think I would be like, I would probably be out here in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, Manhattan it's so hard to swallow.
Yeah. I struggle with, where I want to be because it's so massive. And even within Brooklyn, there's so many, you move a couple of blocks and it's something entirely different and a couple more blocks and it's entirely different. And I love that. Manhattan too. And I think, I feel like this time here is going to be kind of like a blip on my whole timeline. It very well may not be. I could also be here forever. I have no idea. And I'm leaving that open to whatever happens. But while I am here, I really want to be in the middle of it all. And